We have some major breaking news that has announced that Corey LaJoie has announced his 2025 NASCAR plans, which will include attempting to qualify for the 2025 Daytona 500. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news as Corey LaJoie has officially announced his 2025 NASCAR plans. Here's the announcement from Rick Ware Racing. Corey LaJoie has a lot of news to share, and we're proud to be part of it. He'll run a limited NASCAR Cup Series schedule with Rick Ware Racing. He will drive the 0-1 to align with Stacking Pennies. Duramax Oil and Take 5 Oil Charge will sponsor him at this year's Daytona 500 as he attempts to qualify for the 2025 Daytona 500 with Rick Ware Racing. In addition to that, it was announced this morning that along with Daniel Trotta, he will be an analyst for Amazon Prime's NASCAR Cup Series broadcast. He will do the pre-race show with Daniel Trotta. It's unknown if he will be in the broadcast booth in any way, shape, or form, but it'll be part of the Amazon Prime broadcast team in 2025 with more plans in regards to what the rest of the broadcast team will look like in regards to pit road in the coming days and in the coming months. Corey LaJoie, of course, over the course of the last couple months has been rumored to be joining Rick Ware Racing on a part-time basis for the 2025 year. There was talking conversations about him being full-time in the number 51 car for Rick Ware this year. However, that did not end up going through as it was announced about a month or so ago, a couple weeks ago, that Cody Ware will be going full-time in the number 51 for Rick Ware Racing and will drive and have Billy Plurdy as the crew chief this season. First of all, I want to say it's good that Corey LaJoie will at least have a ride on a part-time basis in 2025. I would have rather seen him go full-time in the number 51, but it makes sense why they chose Cody over Corey. One, Cody Ware is the son of Rick Ware, who's the owner. And number two, I think Cody does have a little bit more sponsorship than Corey LaJoie, but I'm not really sure on that. As for Corey LaJoie, let's begin by talking about his Amazon side of things. We had heard this from the NASCAR Rumor Nostalgia account a couple weeks ago that this was likely going to happen, where he was going to do some stuff on Amazon. It is certainly interesting. It's going to be kind of similar when Wally Dallenbach Jr. was a driver, had some decent success in NASCAR, but never went to victory lane. He got a chance to work at the NBC and became one of the best NASCAR analysts we've seen over the course last 20 to 25 years. While Corey LaJoie will also be doing his Stacking Pennies podcast, I think he's going to honestly do a really good job with Amazon. I think he's going to provide a lot of analysts, and I think he'll do a really good job trying to get everybody up to speed as we get into races, and we'll probably have some really good driver interviews as well before the cars do end up getting on track. And it makes a lot of sense to bring someone in who just most likely was in a car on a full-time basis and also will be part-time in the NASCAR Cup Series this year. So I think it's a really solid move for him to get the chance and opportunity to work with Amazon in 2025. They've got a really talented lineup over there with Amazon. You've obviously got Adam Alexander, who's going to be the lead play-by-play announcer, Dale Jr., who's going to be there, and Steve Letart's going to be there. So you're going to have the lead play-by-play commentator, the driver, and the crew chief side of things, which I think is a really good thing that they're going to be bringing to the table with Amazon this year. They're setting up a really strong broadcast lineup that will debut at this year's Coca-Cola 600. As for Corey LaJoie getting behind the wheel of the 0-1 car, this isn't a shock and surprise. He's been the front runner for the second Rick Ware Racing entry. He will have to qualify in for this year's Daytona 500. I do believe that Roush Yates will be helping out in a pretty massive way with this car. And this is also going to be the first time a 0-1 car has been on track since like the mid-2000s, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. Maybe the last time the 0-1 showed up was when Jason Leffler got behind the wheel back in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a long time since we have seen the 0-1 machine on the track. For Corey LaJoie, I think he actually has a decent chance to make this year's Daytona 500 and the other race as well. Now, as for the rest of his schedule, I think he revealed this morning on SiriusXM that he's going to run around 5 to 10 races this year, as he will be focusing on the podcast and doing the Amazon stuff with the qualifying among other things, but I think he'll run around 5 to 10 races, including this year's Daytona 500. I'm glad to see that Corey does have a car for this year. It's a little bit of a shame to see he's not going to be full-time, but at least it's good to see that he'll at least be in a car, at least on a part-time basis this year, and is not out of the sport completely. As much as Corey LaJoie really had a bad year in 2024, and he deserved to kind of lose a seat at Spire, considering he really struggled with Spire Motorsports last year, it would have been a shame to see him not at least have some sort of ride for the 2025 year. We all remember just a couple years ago in 2023, Corey LaJoie honestly was doing a pretty dang good job over at Spire Motorsports for the standards of the team. And then Gateway happened, where Carson Osborne got behind the wheel of that number 7 car because Corey was substituting for Chase Elliott, who had gotten suspended after right-rear Denny Hamlin down the straightaway with the Coast 600. Corey really struggled. Hendrick just didn't have the pace and speed overall. And then, of course, Carson, before he had the brake rotor issues, he was contending for a top 10 at that point and could have easily gotten a top 10 finish with a Spire Motorsports car. And then 2025 was just a complete, 24, I should say, was just a complete disaster for Corey LaJoie at the team and lost his ride in the middle of this season. And then they basically switched him over to Rick Ware Racing. I think as for his chances to potentially make this year's Daytona 500, he is going to have a really good shot to make it. Now, he's going to have a lot of really good competition this year. You've obviously got the Project 91 entry with Trackhouse Racing and Elio Castroneves in the car, even though that car is guaranteed no matter what to make this year's Daytona 500. You've got Jimmy Johnson, the 84 car for Legacy Motor Club, who's taken full ownership of Legacy Motor Club at this point. You've got Dale Jr.'s team of Junior Motorsports, the number 40 car driven by Justin Allgaier with the partnership from Chris Stapleton. That Junior Motorsports car is going to be very strong. You've got Martrex Jr. in the 56 car with Tricon Garage. You've got the 44 car for NY Racing. You have the 62 car for Beer Motorsports with Anthony Alfredo. You've also got Live Fast Motorsports with BJ McLeod. And there could be some other rides that are announced down the road. Also, Garage 66 entry for Chandler Smith. So they're going to be kind of in that range. I don't see Corey LaJoie making it in on the first day. I could be wrong. The Rick Ware cars actually showed some decent speed in qualifying last year at the Super Speedways. So that might be something that could hurt them a little bit. But I do think that Corey LaJoie has a really good chance to make this year's Daytona 500. If I'm looking at the favorites of the open cars going in, because we're only expecting maybe 1 or 2 more, so we got 9 currently at the moment, I look at the Junior Motorsports car and the Trackhouse car to be the quickest on speed. The Chevrolets have been very, very strong and really, really quick. And I think those are the 2 favorites. I think LaJoie, because he's honestly a really solid super speedway racer, that's where most of his really good finishes have come. So I do think that he'll have a good chance and opportunity to make it in on raw speed there in the race. I just don't see him making it on qualifying day because I think the Chevys are going to be really quick in a couple weeks from now. As for LaJoie's schedule for the rest of the year, we haven't really got an official announcement on that outside of the Daytona 500. I would think that Corey is probably going to run a few other races, like maybe in the latter portion of the year. Maybe goes to Gateway and tries to get revenge after that bad run a couple years ago. Maybe he does Talladega. I would have to think some of the super speedway races are definitely going to be a potential. And I do think he'll probably run maybe a road course down the road. He qualified really well on those tracks. He just didn't have the finishes to show for it, unfortunately. But I do think that Corey will have a good chance and opportunity to make the Daytona 500. And I think it's good to see that at least he does have a ride in some sort of capacity. As much as, like I said, he did struggle in 2024 and just lost the ride justifiably, unfortunately, I didn't want to see him be out of NASCAR as a whole. There was talk of him going down to Xfinity and truck competition this year, but he chose to be in the NASCAR Cup Series, which makes a lot of sense in my opinion. It was a good decision for him. I'm glad to see at least be in NASCAR in some sort of capacity. I think he's got a decent chance and opportunity to be competitive with Rick Ware. I think it was the right decision to put him at least on a part-time stint. I don't know if he's going to run any Xfinity or truck competition. Maybe he does down the road. Who knows at this point, but I'm glad to see nonetheless that Corey will have the chance and opportunity to compete this year with Rick Ware Racing on a part-time basis, and glad to see he'll at least be around in the sport in the 2025 NASCAR season. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Corey LaJoie. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's description below that and comment below your thoughts below on today's episode. You think Corey LaJoie will qualify his way into the Daytona 500? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And how do you think he'll do with Amazon as well? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. There won't be any more videos dropping today on the channel, most likely, unless some major news does end up breaking. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to be doing an early look at the entry list for the Clash at Bowman Gray for the Cookout Clash. If there's any news that breaks tomorrow, we'll talk about that as well. Wednesday, we're probably going to have 2 videos breaking up the news from Monday, and Tuesday, splitting them up into a couple episodes. Thursday is going to be race picks for the Cookout Clash, along with the paint scheme video dropping as well. Friday, there'll be a NASCAR news video dropping, most likely, and Saturday and Sunday, we'll have reactions to stuff from the Clash as racing has come come back. We've got content coming out soon on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Walsh, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Cletus McFarland, Frankie Muniz, Matt DiBenedetto, Carson Quaffle, Carson Hocevar, Connor Zillich, Junior Motorsports, all that good stuff. And probably we'll have an updated look. And truck lineup is coming really soon as well, probably this week at some point, and maybe next week we'll probably have the truck lineup coming. So expect a lot of that good content. I'm thinking Friday or Saturday is going to be the truck lineup most likely coming out, and then expect some other good content dropping. Probably on Saturday before the Clash kicks off, you'll probably see the truck lineup go ahead and drop, and there should be a review on the Clash coming very soon as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.